Hanukkah or happy seasons or whatever you say, wherever you're from. So there's lots of excitement in the certainly in this family. 6 whole brand new games today. Thank you very much to Google Stadia. So I thought we'd jump in, excuse me, and have a little look, see what we think. Why not, hey? So here I am down here, little tiny me. Hello, hello. And here are our games. So 6 games, Everspace, Kine, Hitman 2, Monster Jam, Into the Breach, and Secret Neighbor. All good quality games. So let's start. Actually have a very, very quick look at Everspace first thing. So we'll have another quick look at Everspace now while we're here. Why don't we? Okay, so I'm also running a little system here that may or may not work, may or may not fail. We'll soon see. Hopefully it won't do. Hopefully it won't do. What I won't be able to do, though, sadly, is put comments up on the screen at the same time as playing. Downside of playing with a Chrome browser on Stadia. So this Everspace is a roguelike game, which for all aficionados, a roguelike, as you know. You lose, you snooze. I'm not a fan of them, to be honest. I like to progress in a game. But if you're into challenges and you just want to kind of, beat your last score, get further into a game without dying, all those kinds of stuff, then this is definitely a good game for you. It's 1080p. We know this because it actually says so in the settings. Actually, it gives you one option and it's 1080p. Other than that, so you're basically flying this ship. You can run it in third person, as we're seeing here, or you can run it in first person, or you can hide it completely. So you can, whichever takes your fancy. This is the kind of VR look, isn't it? That if you've ever played with a VR headset, this is kind of the look you would expect. I don't know which I prefer. I guess I kind of prefer this full screen, to be fair. It's just, yeah, I think that's probably the one. Depends whether you want scale or, I guess when you're in full combat and stuff coming around at you, it's quite useful to have this third person. Let's have a look anyway. This is a mineable even. God, it's early. Mineable fuel, which probably means I've got to shoot it, does it? Let's have a look. Yes. Oh, got points for that. Ideal. Some fuel here. So this is actually a continuation of initial tutorial. I don't know a huge amount about this game. I don't know who the developer is. I think it's an indie. Fairly accomplished indie title at that. I know it came out about a year ago, I think. I had a quick look on Google. I think it was around a year ago. So, typical for Stadia that if they're not day and date, they're around about a year old. They don't tend to be much older than that unless they're real classics and show stealers. What we're doing here, tech container. I presumably just have to fly through it, do I? Nope. Well, I don't know. So open the equipment menu, right? You can drop or salvage equipment there. You can also press A when next to floating equipment that can't be picked up. Well, okay. I just did press that and it got me my options. Hey, good morning, Ali. Yeah, I was in there straight away. They're actually pretty good this month, aren't they? I mean, the great thing about these pro games is they attempt to be horses for courses. They tend to be something for everyone. Right then, what do I do here? Oh, it's a beam laser. So I don't know whether it replaces. Yeah, there's a swap. You can salvage it. I guess you pop that in your library. So if I do that, rockfish. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's been salvaged, and there we go. So presumably, if I go into my action freeze, no, I can't see anywhere. I pressed the menu that it suggested. Let's try the other one, the other side. There you go. Whoops, a bug, folks. It isn't the 3-line hamburger. It's the 3-dotted button to the left. So there you go. That's the first time I've ever seen that, where they've because I always thought the button mapping was was kind of part of the port. It was like an automated process. But well, it's wrong anyway. So it isn't that one. It's t'other one. So here you can see, I guess, okay, see what state your ship's in. Have a look and see where you are in the grand scheme of the universe. Your various challenges and stuff. I mean, there's some depth to this game. It's definitely not a let's have a quick 5-minute look at this. Is it for me? No, move on. I think you do need to spend some time looking at this. Yeah, there's some. I could see me getting into this if it wasn't for the Everspace. Everspace, the roguelike aspect, because that's the thing that's going to throw me. I think. I guess it largely depends how short the missions are between where you lose completely and whether you can start again. But anyway, there you go. So give it a go. Looks good, though, doesn't it? It's quite a nice. It's quite a pretty 3D affair. Oh, there's that thing we just. I don't know if I picked it up or not, to be honest. On the equipment menu, you can drop or salvage equipment there, which, as I say, I think is this one. Because if I press that one, which it tells you to, you don't have it. Oh, I see Rockfish is there. Thank you, Anthony. I should really spend some time getting to know these, shouldn't I? But there's no, there's clearly nothing here to do with salvage. So they must mean that button, which is the 3 dots. I'm not seeing the thing that I just picked up, however. So that's probably because you've only got a couple of slots, I'm guessing. So you'd sort of decide to remove that and or upgrade it and so on. So okay, I'm going to remove it. Let's remove it just for the sheer hell of it. Oh, it won't let me. Oh, here we go. Right. So gonna actually, I think I may have salvaged that pulse. Or is that the pulse laser that I picked? Oh, I don't know. That's a beam laser. No, that's. So what do? We press A. Yep. Okay. And then we swap it. Okay, there we go. And so then if I go back to the 3 dots, I've now got my beam laser. Got it. Right. Okay. Cool. How good is the beam laser? Let's try. I don't know. A bit like the Gatling gun, actually. The Gatling. Oh no, there it is. There's the beam laser. It was the Gatling. Oh yeah, quite like that. Do you know? It reminds me a little bit of No Man's Sky in the way that the weaponry and stuff works, and also the kind of your AI friend that tells you what the heck's going on. Hey, Daz, getting it in early, mate. Getting it in early. I mean, you know, got to be out. You snooze, don't you, bro? Right. Okay. So press X to. Oh, hang on. Who's that shooting at me? See that little star and the circle down there? That's telling you kind of where your objectives are. There we go. So here's a dude, outlaw scout. We'll have him. I don't know how long this laser stays active for, whether it needs to be recharged, because we did have the fuel, didn't we? Whether that's okay. He's got. Oh, you can see the stuff that they leave behind, which is pretty cool. So there's energy core extension. There's a blueprint. Picked it up. Presume I can build stuff. Yeah, there's a fair amount to this game. It has to be said. I wouldn't want to write this off. You head for these to go to the next quadrant. Let me just have a little sip-a-voo of morning coffee. So there we go. And then you choose the sector that you want, I guess. Oh, there I am. I'm there. Look at the big pulsing circle. So we'll head over there. Yeah, it does, doesn't it, Bibbidi Bob? That's how I'm feeling about it as well. But just that one aspect of No Man's Sky, which is, of course, when you are floating around out in space. I don't think Maybe Anthony, maybe you know this. I don't think you actually end up going onto planets and stuff. I think it's all kind of space related. But I might be wrong. I may be wrong because I don't know that much about it. Hard to hear. Apologies about that, Des. I got my mic on normal levels. Merchant ship, so you can trade stuff. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it really does have that kind of No Man's Sky vibe, no question. Is there, just out of interest, guys, are you hearing the game as well as myself? Because I don't think I chose to share the audio. Yeah, that's what I thought, bippity bob. So very similar to No Man's Sky. If you like No Man's Sky, and I have to say I loved it. I completed it first time around. I couldn't pick it up again with all the amazing updates that they provided. I guess having just spent so much time in it to complete it the first time around, and it was a grind, albeit I really loved it. I just kind of can't go back to it. No audio on the game. Thank you, Imam. Yeah, I'd have to pause it and bring it back. I can do that though, actually. I think. Let me just do that for you because, you know, I wouldn't want to hear it. So what I'll do is let me just unshare. Hello, it's me. Let me bring it back again. Only this time we'll share audio and then you'll get to actually hear the game. Here we go. And doop, there's me down there. Right, now you should hear some little tinkly music now. Let me know if I am too quiet versus the game. I do have, unfortunately, my voice is by its very nature soft. So if you want shouty, go and watch Clive. I can't do that. I'd love to be able to. I'd love to have a bit more. And you know, when I'm in these panel shows and everyone's like, no, me, and I'm like, hello, can I hear? Thanks, Daz. It's just the way of my nature. These are pretty good graphics. As I've said earlier, they're only 1080p. We know this because if we go to options, display, you'll see at the top there, there's no, I can't go any higher. I can't change it from 1920, 1080, which of course is 1080p. Or at least it's 1080. Thanks, Kumna. So, yeah, however, it's pretty good looking, I reckon. And, you know, I mean, where's the need on your TV 10 feet away to have anything different? As I said earlier, you can choose between your sort of distance third person, beg your pardon, look, or you can zip inside your cockpit. Quite like the whole scale of the thing is cool. I mean, I'm loving the size of that planet there, and the fluidity of movement. It's got a very real feel to it. Whoops, I'm being fired on. Some combat, guys. Oh, let's go back out here. It's easy. I think it's easier when you've got the full. You don't, as you can see, you don't. Your reticle doesn't need to be entirely on. There it goes. Entirely on the offender. It just needs to be roughly in the right area. There is a harder. If I go back to the dots. Yeah, you can't see it here, but if you save and quit, there is an option to come back in a much harder game, and I'm guessing there you've got to be a lot more precise. Kumar, the description for the Monster Truck game says it's only single player split screen. Yeah, well, that is the same. I played it very briefly last week on PS Now, and it was single player, 2-player co-op there as well. I wondered whether they would spruce it up a tad, as has been the case, as you know, with a lot of the games that have come to Stadia. They've sort of given it a little Stadia makeover, and predominantly in the multiplayer scheme of things. But no, looks to be not the case. We'll move on to that in a second. I actually was only going to do a quick view of all of these games. So I think we'll call a day on Everspace. But I think, you know, this one, out of all of them that I've seen so far, which, by the way, is only this one, is the one I'd probably come back to and spend a bit of time getting my head into, because it definitely has, as we've seen with this menu and the map and so on, I'm assuming this is just one sector. It says sector 1, difficulty normal. So, you can assume this is one sector out of quite a few. And you've got challenges that you need to go and do. Blueprints, we picked up one on our travel, so you can build stuff, enhancements and so on. So there's decent progression in here as well. Codex, which is cool. So we get to find out about enemy. Oh,
something's not right with me. I'm having memory loops.
Spoiler. Well, it's not a spoiler. This is the cutscene that you see at the start of the game. Typical of indies, it's kind of illustrations. It's like a PowerPoint strung together versus a sort of animated scene. But that's fair. Not everybody has AAA budgets, do they? Right, let's come out of that one because I thought that was pretty cool. Let's look at the next one in the list. So we've got here Kine. Now Kine, there we go. Kine's actually been around on Stadia for a while. It was one of the... Oh God, I keep forgetting to use your mouse. That's annoying, isn't it? Actually, when you're on the old Chromecast. If you've got a controller in hand, little wasabi there, guys. The fact that you've got to keep flipping between your mouse to start the game. But yeah, Kine was one of the very early releases. It's an independent title. I remember at the time watching or reading an interview by the developer, who was a lady and really passionate about her game. It was a kind of life project. She'd spent a lot of time coming up with a concept and getting it built and designing it and stuff. I can't recall if she was a developer or whether she commissioned or employed people to do the job. But essentially, it's one of those kinds of games that you progress by matching beats and things. So I'm not gonna worry too much about looking at the controls. I'm hoping there's a tutorial. Okay, so yeah, you have these lands, and you can see here's a section here that you play on. There he is. It's a really lovely illustrative style as well. It's got the dare I say it, 1970s sort of commercial artist look. A new player, have you ever played piano? Well, honestly, yes, but not very well. So I do love a keyboard. So here we go. So you kind of generate your own beat, but clearly what you want to do is to get it to sound at least half useful. Kumna, yeah, me too. I genuinely thought that they would have it as a multiplayer. As you know, I'm always looking for games on Friday nights. Kumna's talking about monster trucks. Always looking for a game on a Friday night to supplant our usual fodder. But there we go. I can even pop him up on the screen. There he is. Yeah, but unfortunately, that ain't going to be it. And I don't think there's anything in this month's crop so far, because I don't think I'm alone in thinking there will be more. We already had Outward drop yesterday, which I have to say, although I don't intend to buy it, I've got just way too many games to play at the moment, and Christmas is coming and all that stuff. I've got Sackboy coming for Christmas with another controller. So I'm not intending to buy any games at this moment in time. I've got Cyberpunk. We've got Phoenix coming out in 2 days. We've got Cyberpunk on the 10th. So yeah, I'm kind of done in terms of buying games. But, nonetheless, interested in trying out these pro games. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But sometimes you just need to turn a corner and try something different. Yeah. So this is a bit of a tutorial. So you're aiming for that little song sheets book there. What is that? I don't know. Let's go and find out. Do we go forward? No. Go up here. Nope, can't reach it from here. If only I could find a way. Oh, here comes a way. What happened there? A new set of drums. Quat the drummer. Yeah, exactly. That's not a verb. Okay, so what is this then? I'm guessing this is just little tutorials that we tick off. Is it? I guess. So we're doing the drummer now. Okay, Quat. Today's the day. Today you take that first step on the road to stardom. Oh, I just noticed for the first time ever, It shows you the little buttons on your controller that you have to press. So he's got okay, he's that's cute. He's got a little stand. Oh, that's actually, it's quite clever because you. Yeah, no, well, let me go there. Why? Ah, because. Dag nabbit. Maybe I've got. Right, so that's him stood. I've got to get over to where that book is. I need to be on the one to my left, I'm guessing. Can I do that? Yeah, I can. But I can't. How do you spin the thing around? To get it, presumably you have to be on the symbol. Sorry about that, guys, making you feel seasick this time of the morning. There's a little skeleton skull down there. Presumably you have to... that, then you can do that. Right, okay, but still, nonetheless, I'm in the wrong place. Let's go all the way over here. And no, that's just still going to put me in the same. So, dag nabbit! This is too Mensa for me this time of the morning. So you can go up. No. It's got a real kind of jazz beat going down there. It has that jazzy look to it as well. If you don't like jazz, you're out of luck, mind you. I don't know how well it did. Oh, hello. Aha. Oh, I still feel like I'm in the wrong place, though. Unless can I push that over? Oh, that's okay. Yes, you can rotate. Aha, right, okay, we're in business. There we go. Yeah, you're right, Biffy Bob. I mean, I think once you get the kind of general feel, because that's a really interesting mechanic. That's sliding across your dude. That I've never seen before. I don't know. Are we introducing some new instrumentation into the mechanic now? So I can't. Or do I have to go up when the wall's up? When there's a wall behind me? Or is that just graphical? I think it's just graphical, to be honest. So I can rotate. Sorry about this. I should stop using the camera. I can rotate in one direction. Cool, blimey, don't mention that, man. What about the other controls? No. So I don't know. Oh, okay, because it needs to push the bar out to the left of the character. Crikey. This one's baffled me. Or Quat the drummer. I can't go forward because the bar needs to go behind me. I can't push to the left and then move forward. And there's no other... What does that do? Oh, that resets you. Okay, that's pretty cool. You only get one shot. So you can go back, I think is what it's... So if you see down the bottom, well, you can't see it, sorry, my big head's all over the thingy bob. There's like a forwards, a backwards play and a pause, and I think you can use it to rewind your steps, which is quite a cool mechanic. Cool jazz, welcome to the jazz room with Rokk and Quat the drummer. Oh, I don't know, I might have to give up on this one. It needs a bit more lateral thinking. I think it was, I think people that bought it and it was for sale. Interestingly enough, because it is quite old in terms of the games that came out in Stadia that then converted into a pro game. Quite a few people probably have it already and know what they're doing. Right, okay, I'm gonna call it a day on that one because as cool as it looks, I haven't got a flipping Scooby-Doo what's going on there. So let's have another look down here. What we got? Destiny 2, yes. Well, of course, in a way, that is a kind of pro game now, isn't it? Because everybody can claim it. I was a bit disappointed. I'd read everywhere that Crater could be picked up by anybody, but I was unable to get it with any of my free accounts. So I don't know what happened there. We all know what Hitman looks like. Let's leave that until last. Into the Breach and Secret Neighbor. Let's do Into the Breach next. So again, not a game I know a huge amount about. Oh, I beg your pardon, you can use the controller. Not a huge knowledge on this one. I've heard that it is, there we go. I've heard it's an 8-bit. I'm not a huge fan of those. I think, there's a certain nostalgia to these that people that are kind of into very early handhelds and stuff, mobile games, that kind of thing. Create new profile. Consider it created. Alpha's fine with me. Let's do this. There's an excitement though, isn't there, when you fire these up for the first time? If you know nothing at all about it, a little bit like opening a present. Open a breach. Time to go back and try again. Well, as 8-bits go, it's more like a 16-bit, isn't it? It's quite pretty. Nice, accomplished graphics. Be back. Hamburger for start. L1 with difficulty. Stick with normal. I don't know what back would take me. I don't think there's anything to choose there. Oh, L2, edit time traveler. So you can choose whether you want to be a tank or, I guess, those 3 up there. There's a mech. 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 That's just your mechanic, your gear, I guess. So you can choose between like a robot-y kind of thing, a tanky type of thing, or a gun placement. Cannon actually tells you to the right. Combat, cannon, or artillery mech. I'm going with combat. I want to be able to walk around and shoot and punch stuff. Okay, we have that one. Rename. I will leave him as Ralph. Ralph Carlson works for me. Yeah, well, this is the thing, Bippity Bop. I thought it had gone free to play, or at least that it was. You could pick it up for a time-limited period, and I went to look at it within that time-limited period, and I couldn't pick it up. So I really don't know what was going down there. Right, here we go. Island locked. So we've got to go to one that is available, which looks to be this one. What we've got here. This museum island recreates old Earth as it was before the oceans rose. Oh, don't go there. Too real. And nearly wiped out humanity. Yes. So the CEO of what? Of this island? Oh, Archive Inc. Dewey Alms. His environment is temperate. That's right. I could do a temperate climate. Britain's temperate. Threat scanner. We've got some stuff to look out for, and they're all led by a leader by the look of it. So we'll go in. Hello, mate. The bad news is the Vec are overrunning our island, putting refugees and historical artifacts at risk. The good news is we have old Earth military artifacts that can help in the fight. Cool. Combat simulation. There is a combat simulation available. To get new commanders up to speed. Yeah, I definitely need that. Would you like to launch it? Yes, please. I'm going to press X. It's one of them. Right, okay. So, play a turn. I know Duncan loves these kind of games, these turn-based games. And it's kind of like an 8-bit Baldur's Gate. Power grid. This is the power grid. Whenever a building is damaged, it will be reduced. That's the power grid, right? Okay. This is what delivers power to your mechs. So if it's reduced to 0, you lose. Got it. So in essence, these are all lives, aren't they? And I'm guessing that 1, 2, 3 is a fair chunk of them. Victory in 7 turns. Right, 8 dismiss. Enemy attacks. Every enemy attack is forewarned. Next turn, this one will attack the buildings. Hover over an enemy to see details about its attack. Do you remember that game they gave us a little glimpse of around the 3 days of ecstatic Stadia-ness? What was it called? Humankind? Which I think it's been released now, isn't it? It was early access, wasn't it? Beg your pudding. And it still is early access. But that was kind of, a vastly more complicated version of this sort of a game, wasn't it? Turn-based. Hover over an enemy to see its details. Oh, look, here I come. This is your combat mech. It can punch any adjacent tile. Oh, good, I can move around. Use the left stick to hover over the mech and press the A button to select it. Move your mech here. Doop, doop. Press the A button to confirm movement. In a way, I guess, as well, it's kind of modern chess, isn't it? Weapon use. Use the R2... Oh, hang on, I read that. Punch the enemy. All right, then. Well, I'm trying, but there we go. Pushing enemies. Your mech's punch pushed this unit. It will now attack a new location. It's going to have a crack at that mountain. We don't care about that, do we? Pushes can save buildings from enemy attacks, or even make enemies attack each other. And Kaif says, I love Into the Breach. This actually feels more like a puzzle game than a strategy game. Yeah, you're right, it does. I mean, I'm not a massive turn-based fan, I have to say, Kaif, but this looks like it's got some fun to it. And not that the others do, but I mean in terms of what I like. So, weapon effects. When aiming a weapon or examining an enemy attack, icons show you exactly what will happen. Pushing, yep, a little arrow pushes there. So an arrow on a tile means the unit on that tile is going to get pushed. Damage, a number on a tile means the unit on that tile will be damaged. And then push plus damage, so that all kind of makes sense. So you're pushing him off there, and he's going to suffer one of his. It looks like he's only got 3 icons that could be damaged. So, and then your end turn. But if you've already pushed a thing, surely that is your end turn, isn't it? I don't know. Press the Y button to end your turn. Right now, the enemy's gonna have a little blitz. There's another enemy over there. Look. Oh, well, I would say that. Oh, hang on. This is your. We get to play with all of them. This is your cannon mech. It shoots a projectile that travels in a straight line until it hits the object. Well, it's not going to shoot anything from there. So what do? You basically position it, I guess. So you choose him. Yep. Oh, that's as far as you can go. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, we could go here, look, because then we can shoot across the water. Right. And then what do? Do we get another shot at him? R2. When aiming a weapon, hold down the L1 button to get more information. Okay. Brute class. Fires a powerful projectile that damages and pushes its target. Okay. Cool. Well, I'm happy with that. Can I just fire it, though? Will it let me? Yes! Get in! Well, we damaged him right out of the game. So what do? Just keep going? I mean, what point do I have to hand over the reins? See, it looks like in any case, if I can't use my dude because his range is only 1 cell or thereabouts. So what if I take my little fella here and popped him there? Would it allow me to do that? No. Okay. Oh, hang on. Try again. No, not having it. But oh, that's weird. So I can choose this one, and I can pop him there, I guess, and then I can. You just keep going. I mean, you get to move each of your units before ending your turn. Yeah, but I've kind of like. It looks like I could just keep going indefinitely. Anyway, some more enemies now, look. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, look, you get the gist. I quite like this. I could have some fun with this. This is definitely 1, 2. It tells you victory in 5 turns. It kind of does have a draft, checkers, whatever you want to call it, or a chess feel. I'm going to call a day on that one because we've still got 4 more to look at. So let's come out of that one. Yeah, that's good. So far, I'm happy with the choices here from our friends at Google Stadia. I would definitely want to come back and have a little play with these. So next, let's now Secret Neighbor. I have a confession. I've literally opened the other 2 neighbors that we've got, Hello and Hide and Seek, and I've kind of maybe close them again fairly quickly. I just haven't found them. I just haven't been able to get into them. So who knows? Secret Neighbor. Let's see what this is all about. I read yesterday that the developer Hologryph just had a chunk of dosh thrown at them from somebody else. It wasn't massive in the scheme of things. I mean, I say that it's massive to us, $3-4 million, but in the scheme of capital thrown at companies, it ain't huge. So what do we do here? What goes on in secret with our neighbor? Choose a character. Well, I'm not worried about the character. Find a game. So is this? I remember now. This is like the game which I forget the name of, which has taken Twitch by storm. where it's that kind of 8-bit thing where you've got to work out who did it. And I think this is a similar thing. And I think 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can play with 4 other players. This is going to be fun. First time the games have gone live early in the morning for most people. There ain't no way on this planet it's going to find anybody else to join my game. But I do wonder, because you do have custom game, but it's locked. So I'm guessing the reasoning behind that is that you've got to at least understand what's going down before it allows you to do it. Or has it not been unlocked yet? I have no idea. Or is it simply because I'm searching for players? Like, I ain't going to find any, let's be completely honest here. So if I got a custom game, let's have a look at this, because again, 4 players is cool for you and some mates, but it ain't any use for streaming. Create a server. Oh no, I haven't got a keyboard. Don't maybe do this. Okay, that'll do. Password, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody can jump in if you want to. I don't care. I'm not going to be in it for very long, to be honest. Right, we're in. So at this point, yeah, let's stop reminding me about the headset, will you, please? Thank you. So you start the game, waiting for other players. I'm interested in how it works. So what's my favorite game for the pros this month, says Ryan. This is only the 3rd one that I've opened, Ryan. So we've had a quick look at Kine, we had a slightly longer look at Everspace, and we've opened up into the breach. So now we're into Secret Neighbor. I would say out of all of those so far, they've all got merits. I wouldn't want to call any of them just yet. Oh, I missed that. That was probably very important to read. So what do we do? Who knows? We could put a flashlight on if we want to. Enable light. Open the door. So what I don't know is this just a kind of multiplayer hide and seek, as was the case with the last Neighbor game that we had released not that long ago, which came out, I think we've had them all as pro games, haven't we? That we've had to buy any. Now obviously I don't have any other folk in here in this game. As I said, I don't expect it this time of the morning. But what I don't know, that's a secret door there, is what the heck you do when you do. There's doors with names on. This definitely needs some research. Needs to be researched. Stuff that you can hide in. 2. So that game that I forget the name of, guys, you may remember it. It's massive on streaming at the moment, Twitch and so on. And it's sort of an 8-bit game where you all have to determine who the culprit is. It's just come from nowhere. It's massive. I haven't played it, which is why I don't know what it's called. But I think this is a kind of hologlyphs attempt at that. So there are Among Us. Thank you, Louise. Exactly right, my friend. So Among Us, I think this, without knowing anything at all about it, is their attempt at an Among Us. So they're pretty cool, hologlyph. They've got this basic one-trick pony, and then they keep flying around different versions of it, depending on the mood of the market. So Among Us is almost certainly what this is. Anyway, I don't know how to play it. I've never played Among Us. It looks like the others. I'm sure if you're into them, you'll love it. I'm sure with other players, you'll love it as well. But we'll crack on, I think, because it definitely is one of those. So watch out for guys playing this. Watch out for Cloudy or Gem or whoever later in the week or even later today, because I think, if you know what you're doing and you've got a few people there, it's probably a good one. Now, Monster Jam. Monster Jam, as I said, I played this last week on PS Now, knowing that it was coming, and it's been around for a year or so. I thought I'd have a little play and see what I think of it. I have to say, quite enjoyed it. Not a massive car racing vehicle type player. Hey, Victor, thanks for joining us, my friend. Just having a little run through the pro games here. But it's nonetheless, I thought it was pretty cool. As Kumnar said earlier, sadly, it isn't anything more than single player stroke co-op. But that said, what's wrong with that? That's perfectly fine. I like the co-op aspect as well. I think, just accept this stuff. I'm probably going to get this stream's going to get copyright hit now because of this damn music. I wish they wouldn't do that. It's not my fault, is it? I'm not trying to. Any road up. Monster Jam University. So there's a whole bunch of tutorial. As you can see, it's 1080 as it was when I played it on PS Now, which anyway is limited to 1080.
It's my job to show you the ropes and get you ready for the big show.
Settings.
For now, let's focus
so
on the basics.
You are a monster truck. They're fun. They have independent wheels, which are quite odd. You do get into races, but also there's kind of trick stuff where you've got to jump up and pick things up out of the air and what have you.
In this lesson, you will learn how.
Went through this pretty quick. Oh, hello. Right. So there's your truck. I think you do have multiple views again, a bit like Everspace. I just can't remember how you do it. There you go. First lesson, forward.
Now we are going.
Second lesson, I think it's just brake. Wow, over the top music for the braking. Here we go.
Sweet.
Thank you.
You did it. For our next lesson.
For our next lesson. Okay. Command and Conquer type games. Yeah.
Nicely done.
Into the Breach,
Nicely
kind
done.
of like that, Victor.
Sometimes
Although
you might find yourself in a difficult
certainly a
position,
turn-based
like
game,
upside
but I have to
down
say,
or on-
pretty impressive. So you can spin yourself around. I'm watching to remind myself how it works. Just kind of rotate the controls and press all sorts of buttons and triggers and stuff. It writes itself. You have to do it a couple of times, unfortunately. No resets. I don't know how it works.
That's it.
I did it anyway.
All right. You've got.
Oh, it was just a reset, that one. But yeah, it's a very fiddly control, as you can imagine, because you've kind of got front and rear wheel control. So it doesn't just want to go in a straight line for you. Smashing crates here. You also get different vehicles, still pretty much the same, they just look totally different. As I say, there's lots of tricks you can do. It's going to be a fun one, this. Is it not Trials Rising? Because that's actually quite good fun. But no, there's another one, which I forget now, another kind of Moto GX type thing, which, go around. But that's a similar thing, so you can have fun with it. Come on, how many more? 1, 2, there we go. Sorry, guys. I can't whip through this, unfortunately. You get a feel for it, don't you? Smash more crates. But yeah, I mean, no, it feels the same as it did on PS Now. I wouldn't say it's any worse or any better. Graphically, it looks the same because, as I've mentioned, I've got to do a donut, which is R2 on the left, here we go, which is 1080p. Hitman 2 might be 4K, we'll see in a second.
Great job.
I doubt it, though. Woohoo! Oh, no, didn't do it. Reset. There we go. There we go. Oh.
You're on.
Oh yeah, you got R2 and L to flip yourself over, which isn't quite as easy as it sounds. Power out and upright your truck. Come on. So, yeah, it wasn't easy before either, from memory. You can do a donut though.
One more time.
Wrench Fest? I don't know. R2 and L. Let's try again, perform a stunt. I remember trying this on the PS Now and it was infuriatingly difficult to try and write it. So you press R2 push. Yeah, push it to the
There'll be
right,
plenty of time to explore later.
which I'm doing. There you go. Push the L to the right.
You're doing great.
That's the secret. Okay, R2 for gas. Visit the Whiplash. Visit Whiplash at her garage. There we go. As they say in France.
All right.
There we go. Job done. They can wax you into a race. I'm rubbish. Anybody that watches me on Fridays when we've got grid or anything will know I have never mastered the finer arts of keeping to that little arrow that it tells you what to do. Similar thing. Stay within the yellow arrows essentially in this one, and doesn't like you going either before you're ready. I think there are cars behind us. No, there's none in this one. It's just a little baby tutorial. Whoa, hit the brake. Get back. It'll reset you. Stay there, good boy. It's when you go over those bumps that you lose everything. Look at that. Because if you hit them with any kind of slight deviation on the tyres, it's gonna magnify you physically off into the world in a way that you really don't want it to do. So either don't jump over them, just take them nice and easy. If you can line yourself up, you're okay. There we go, that's pretty good. There you go, it's better. There's no handbrake turny stuff on this one that I could find. It's just literally forwards and backwards. So it's all about, they're coming. It's all about braking with control. Anyway, you get the idea. You get the general idea, right? It's good fun though. I mean, it's another great addition, quite honestly. And also, let's not forget how many of these games are off. This is the first time they've appeared on Stadia, right? So we're not only getting 6 free games, we're getting, 5 of them that have never been on Stadia before? And that's pretty damn cool. They're going to go out of rotation at some point, my guess is. So, obviously claim them now, even if you're never going to play them. They will be for sale at some point. There we go.
You did it!
I know. Okay. Right, one last thing, and then we'll move on to the next one. Yay, I came second. That is not unusual. Didn't even see Whiplash. You get a new truck, Northern Nightmare unlocked, and everybody gets that. You can't fail not to get it. I don't even know if you get anything different for the first one. The game I was trying to say, the Moto GP thingy bob one, the bikes. Yeah, it's a racing bike one. Okay, now what I'm supposed to be doing here, let's get back, is hitting that triangle wedge there. A little cheese slice, pizza slice, whatever. So you kind of have to just hit it. Missed it. Come on. Okay, let's get back around. I think this is all original music, so I don't know whether we're going to get penalised for playing it or not. It's not like it's... There we go. It's not like it's Aerosmith or anything. And then... What now? Oh yeah, just keep doing these, if I remember rightly. Yep, there's another one over there. I can't remember how many you've got to get. But it's all about trying to do them with stunts as well. Like that. 2 of 50. 2 of 50?! It's still in the store, I think, Louise. I can't recall what it is. Anyway, look, you get the gist. There's 2 more. There's 2 more in our little run around here. So we've done Secret Neighbor. Yeah, that needs some time to be looked at, and clearly it needs a bunch of people to play with. Into the Breach, turn-based 8-bit. Pretty good, actually. I'm quite impressed with that one. I'd want to play that more. Kine definitely needs some thought. That's a lateral puzzle, do it to the beat kind of malarkey. Everspace, roguelike, in space, shoot stuff up, progression, a bit like No Man's Sky. Pretty cool. What else have we got? We've got Hitman 2. I think that's our last one, isn't it? I know it says Hitman World of Assassination, but I'm sure it's Hitman 2. But the 2 is nowhere to be seen. Hitman. I'm not a massive Hitman fan. Again, it's ironically a little roguelike, isn't it? Because you've got to achieve each of those little missions, or you go back. Well, you don't go back to the start. You can go back to a thing, but you can't progress without doing it, which is okay. I think I preferred the older ones to the new ones. The one that put me off, which is the most recent one that landed on Stadia, the one where the first tutorials on the boat. I don't know why. There was something about that one. I just couldn't get my head into it. Well, I'd say straight away this is 1080. Judging purely on the look of this, the text isn't particularly crisp for me. Sign up, no thank you. I'm sure I'm in it somewhere anyway. Just out of interest, do we get to choose settings? Options, here we go. Graphics, no, so just gamma correction. Okay, fine. Sometimes it tells you, even if it's like the Everspace told you it was 1080p, but you couldn't change it, which is fine. Okay, so let's featured story, campaign. This looks the same. This is the same as the ship one that I thought we already had. What's going on here then? Unless Hitman 2 is built into it now and it wasn't before, maybe. Is that what's going on here, guys? Is this simply the fact that they've taken Hitman 2, lumped it with Hitman 1 and given us this progression thing now? I know before it was kind of advertising Hitman. No, because I've seen Project Storm playing this on Stadia. Or have I just claimed an older game? No, it can't be the case. What's going on, guys? I'm confused. I'm sure one of you knows what's going on. But definitely, I've seen Storm playing this on Stadia because he did a comparison of this versus the version on PS Now, which was pretty cool. Why is going on? Why can't I just play the damn thing? Hitman 2 is standalone. So if you didn't have the first one, are you saying that then it would have just shown up as Hitman 2, but because the first one's already claimed, or the second one, I'm not sure which it is, it's lumped the two together? I'm genuinely confused. Here we go, play. I have actually played this on PS Now. You can't knock PS Now. You can't knock it. I mean, 800 games for what works out to about 50 quid a year, $60 a year. You need to be knocked.
So far.
And it's 1080p, you know. I mean, it's the equivalent to the bulk of games on Stadia, but you equally can't beat. I just love with Stadia the fact that I just pick up a controller, press the button, I'm straight in. You know, I don't have to fire up my PS5, go to PS Now, choose the game, load the game. Even though it's streaming, it takes longer to fire up because you're firing up an instance of a PlayStation at the other end. Whereas these blades obviously are designed for speed. So, you know, as much as its value, there is nothing on the market to compare, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of game streaming with Stadia. And trust me, folks, I have tried them all.
The truth of 47's lost origins.
But this is, yeah, it's 100% 1080p. Which is fine. Again, I'm not a 4K snob. I was only thinking the other day, funnily enough, how we go on and on and on about 4K games, and yet still the bulk of television, certainly broadcast TV, is 1080p. So, Ali says Hitman 2 is standalone. Okay. Louis says download it and update it after you delete some other games to open up more storage space. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a million benefits to game streaming. I guess we're now at a point. Oh, it's definitely 60 frames though, by the way, guys. 60 FPS. That makes such a difference. Such a difference. Yeah, it's clearly 60. It's actually a really this opening sequence is beautiful. Look at those waves. They're just animations. They're not
Our intel indicates that she and her
any
team
kind of
are
physics
in
engine
London.
thing going on.
Most likely
Just
planning the militia's
little
next
animation of some
Some
fluff. But I guess we're at a point now
She's no
where,
doubt high
and
on
I
the
hope we're at a
client's
point
list,
now,
but for now,
certainly I
it's
think early
information
2021 we're at the point where
Infiltrate the
we're no
house,
longer talking
raise a
about
lead on
why
shadow client.
cloud gaming is good
Anderson B&E
or
for
more beneficial to hardware. It becomes less about cloud gaming and more about the individual platforms and why Stadia scores points over GeForce Now, or GeForce Now scores points over PS Now, or whatever. I genuinely feel we're kind of at that place. I feel like the last year has all been about why cloud gaming, and we're not, and this massive backlash against Google, which I believe is largely because, let's face it, they're not a traditional gaming company. And I think a lot of the backlash was if it had been a developer like EA or maybe not them, Ubisoft, that had come out with it, or Sony or Microsoft or anyone that's kind of been in the game, Nintendo. I reckon if Nintendo had come out with Stadia, if it was Nintendo Stadia, it would have been a massive success, because that whole snobbishness about this is my field, get out of it, which I think that the market basically out with Google. I just don't think that would have been there. So Google have been on an uphill battle to get over their own brand, let alone the amazing quality of the technology they've developed. But I think we're kind of almost there now. This feels to me like, certainly with the big premiere giveaways, and Cyberpunk, that Cyberpunk deal, believe you me, it has caused massive ripples. Blimey, I mean, I had bought it for PC. To be fair, I'd cancelled that a little while ago anyway, and then I picked it up with the free Premiere Pack for Stadia, and I'm so glad that I have as well. I can't wait for it. I'm so chuffed that I've got it on Stadia. Hello, Raven Anime. Raven Anime. I should pronounce it correctly. How are you? Happy day to you. Yeah, well, Kinga, I'm a massive fan of Stadia. I mean, those of you that probably know, I was doing a collab Luna podcast until recently, and quite frankly, I couldn't justify it. I just felt wrong for me, because I'm so in love with Stadia and I'm so invested in it, and I wouldn't be creating content if it wasn't for Stadia. Whereas Duncan does an amazing job in covering cloud. It made much more sense that Duncan took it on, and I backed away from it. And a very, very amicable, absolutely no falling outs whatsoever. We talked about it for a while. So I'm back. I'm full-time Stadia. We'll do occasional PS5 stuff because it's easy to hit broadcast, but this is my main content focus alongside Cloudburst, because I think the beauty of Cloudburst, which if you guys haven't seen it, it's my sort of flagship Saturday show, which I do with five of the best, in my opinion, content creators. And I just want to justify that, because people have said to me, oh, what about X, what about Y? The people that I chose, it was really important to me that they were quite happy and comfortable being in front of a camera. No disrespect, but there are some amazing content creators with brilliant minds in the community who don't go on camera, and I couldn't have that. I can't have it on that show. That show, as you know, focuses on the individual. So that was why I don't have people that you don't see their faces. And look, for whatever reason, some of them aren't allowed to. They're contractually not allowed to show their faces because of their full-time jobs. I mean, there's no disrespect to them, but for that show, it was important that you could see their faces. But that show is as I say at the very outset, it is not platform specific. It is about cloud, and we don't talk, I mean, we actually talk mainly about Stadia because most of them are Stadia creators, but it doesn't go out of its way to favor a platform. It's very much about cloud. Anyway, look, you've seen Hitman, you know what it looks like. It's definitely 60 frames per second, albeit 1080p. It is this one, the Hitman 2 version, I preferred this to the last one with the ship and everything. So it's a great secondary game. I personally feel it's more of a DLC, but either way, it's free. It's part of the Pro Pack. Yeah, Raven Anime. I do as well, because at the end of the day, it is the game that's important. But I have to say, when I'm able to play on Stadia, because it's a game, there's a game on Stadia that I want to play, it just feels right. Everything just feels right. It is my heart is 100% in Stadia, and I love the community as well. You know, I mean, you guys, absolutely love you. Anyway, look, you know what you do. You shoot stuff. You know, you stealth about the place. You know, it's all that kind of thing. Good morning, Dominic. How are you, my friend? So we've just come into the end, sadly, of our little run through of the 6 pro games, plus a small rat hole down the hole why I'm purely concentrating on Stadia again. I am the world's worst game streamer because I can't talk and stream at the same time. I've just tried. I just end up walking around the environment. I tell you what I will do, guys, because you have all very kindly joined me at quite an unearthly hour. I'll give you a little sneak peek at a show that I'm working on. Well, I won't give you a sneak peek. I'll give you a sneak verbal clue. So I've got a show that there was a feature. There was a feature. Yeah, this my pick of the 6? Not necessarily, no. Good question, Dominic. Having only played all of them for a tiny amount of time, what would be the one I'd go back to? Everspace, probably, because I think it's very much like No Man's Sky, or at least the sort of space flight version of No Man's Sky, the aspect of No Man's Sky, which I loved. And I think there's a lot more to it. The only thing that's putting me off is it's roguelike. And I ain't no challenge dude. I like to progress and move on, and I've achieved that and tick it off. But we'll see. It may be only a light touch rogue-like. So in terms of when I finished, what am I going to go and play? Cripes, I want to go back over all of them, to be honest. I'm keen to spend more time in Kine, because I know I didn't give that anywhere near the thought that it needs, because I think that could be quite fun in working out the various mechanics of the characters. Into the Breach looked really good. Definitely not massive turn, sort of turn play by turn kind of gamer, but that looked to me like it had a lot of promise. So I think all of them, and I think the key thing, Dom, which I'm just saying to the guys and gals, is that all of them bar one are new to Stadia. That's the key thing here. Out of 6 pro games, 6 games that we've been given for our $10, only one of them has been hanging around Stadia, and funnily enough, for quite some time. So, I mean, wow is all I've got to say on that front. Mr. Google is spoiling us. But anyway, look, there's your Hitman. Great game. If you're into Hitman, Monster Trucks, great fun. Monster Jam, Steel Titans, great fun game. Again, I've only I haven't been much further than that, even when I've played it before in the tutorial. But certainly one to have fun with. I'm looking forward to playing it with my daughters because it's a co-op. So that'll be fun racing with them. Secret Neighbor is the one I probably spent the least time in. I haven't got my head into any of the Neighbor games. This is like Among Us, I think. So it does need a team of you. You definitely need to know what you're doing. So I'm looking forward to watching the guys on Stadia Source playing this, for example, where you can get a bunch of people together. That will be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. I happen to know, Dom, because I shouldn't say this, because I don't know that it's public knowledge. No, I'm not going to say it. Just watch this space with Stadia Source. They've got something amazing cooking, but that will certainly be great. Kine, yeah, I spent so little time in this. It was a game that I was quite keen on when it first came to Stadia, particularly after watching or reading the review by, not the review, the sort of a interview with the developer and how much effort she'd put into it. And it was a kind of a project of a lifetime. So I'm looking forward to that. Into the Breach, yeah. I mean, look, I wouldn't normally even give that a second glance. And this is one of the things I love about the pro games. They give you games So, they tried to make it. They tried to give you something for most people's tastes, but it does mean that you get an opportunity to play games you wouldn't normally have a look at, and this is one of those. And I have to say, first look at it, I was impressed, so I'm going to definitely go back and play that one. And then Everspace, which, as I've said, reminds me a lot, and Bippity Bop said the same thing, of No Man's Sky. And I think if you liked that, and if you ever tried No Man's Sky initially and didn't like it for whatever reason, I do urge you to go and pick it up again, because the guys that the developers have put so much effort and so much of their hard-earned winnings back into the game. It's almost a love project now. But I can't go back to it. I completed it first time around, and I'm really just not up for doing it all over again. And I've tried several times, and it does look amazing, but I just can't do it. Elite Dangerous. Okay. That was what the Everspace, that's the option in Everspace. Is it? I know that there's a kind of a mega hard challenging mode. Do you know, Dom, I have a really funny feeling that it will. I believe it's Vulcan. I think it's a Vulcan-based game. I'm sure it is. And I think they've put so much into that game. I think they've got so much more they want to do. We're talking No Man's Sky here, guys. I think they've got so much more they want to do that I think they will realize sooner than later, if they haven't already, that they're going to have to put it up in the cloud to make it, to be able to expand on the universe they've already built, because I think that's the future. We talk often, and we talked about this on Cloudburst on Saturday, about that sort of Oasis, Ready Player One universe. I think No Man's Sky could be one of the first in that genre, because it is massive anyway. I think it was, I don't know whether it truly is procedural, but it was certainly pimped as being a procedural game, where it would build the universe to as you went along. And I think there's an element of it in there, but certainly there's room for that, and that kind of procedural, never-ending infinite game, which a universe, obviously, if you can go to a new planet that's just been developed as you appeared in that space in the universe, and then everybody else in the game can also go there, and you've called it, Dominic's planet, which is what I did on several planets. I think it kind of allows you to do that. So I 100% think that the No Man's Sky guys have got that in their arsenal. They've got it in their minds, if they're not already doing it. I'm not a betting man, but I wouldn't mind putting a $5 bet on that you will see No Man's Sky come to Stadia, or at least a cloud gaming platform next year. I'd love to think. I think their mindset is more Stadia than any of the others. Plus, and to be fair, having said all of that, it is already available on GeForce Now, I think. I'm fairly certain I've played it in the cloud. And it's available on PS Now. I know that for certain. So it is cloud-based already. But they're just consoles playing games in the cloud, aren't they? Stadia is the only one that gives you that expanded ability, the ability to do elastic clouding and distributed clouding gaming, where you can literally, Lego-like bolt the blades together and give you this vast playground. So I think, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a Stadia ported version of No Man's Sky, and it would be its new home and would be the foundation for what would be that vast, never-ending, infinite gameplay. I think that's coming, and that's a good shout by me and Dominic there. Right, ladies and gentlefolk, thank you very much for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed our little brief look at these games and our little chat. It's very good to see you. Very nice to see you. I might do this moving forward as a permanent thing while we're working from home, as I have been since March, and I have to say, loving it as well. So I've missed my team meeting. They'll be very annoyed with me. 9:30 we have a team meeting. Oops. But I might do this in January as well, the month of my birth. We might fire up some of the games there as well when they launch first thing, as they do. And just have a little playthrough in a chat. So that's all good. Spaghetti, thank you for joining us. And Roosevelt, good to see you too. Sadly, you've missed the proceedings, but please do go back and watch from the start. We just did a quick run through the pro games that are released today. Very impressive, all of them, to a man, I would say, and to a woman. Definitely a great set of pro games. But you know what I'm really excited about this month? I said it in November and we did have a load of surprises in November, let's be honest. I just have a feeling this is we've got some decent stuff dropping this month and we don't even know it. That said, we've also got Phoenix Rising and Cyberpunk. Will they want to compete with those? I don't know. I think we've definitely got to get Ubisoft Plus this month because everybody's advertised it as coming this year, including Stadia, who of course said all of these games are coming by the holidays, which, you know, we have to now assume meant Christmas. So over the next 4 weeks, I think we've got 4 Fridays until the eventful day. Over the next 3 weeks, I think we're going to see that one drop. So I'm looking forward to that. That's great news for me because I've been largely playing Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legion and so on. So I can't wait to be playing them on Stadia. Get back to my home, my roots, my boy. So yeah, good vibes to you all. Thank you ever so much, guys. I always do take the longest time ever to say goodbye because I just enjoy doing this. I love chatting to you guys, but you've got lives to lead as well. So thank you very much. By the way, just out of interest, I've been running this on a system called Restream. I normally use OBS or StreamYard. Now, I over the weekend when I tried using this, it failed me dismally. But let me know, how has the streaming gone today? How, when we've had the games up, have they looked relatively smooth to you? I was working last night with one of their developers in a live chat, in a FaceTime chat for some time, tweaking various things to try and make it a little better. We're going to be talking again today. So just out of interest, guys, what did it look like? Did it look okay? Was it a bit jittery? Did it drop frames? Was it smooth? I'm obviously a little tiny box down there, so it's irrelevant whether I was freezing or not, but I'm keen to know whether this is a useful game streaming tool or whether I need to revert to OBS, which is what I normally use. So if you don't know, or if you don't want to say, that's fine, because I'll go back and watch the recording in a minute anyway. But I'm just keen to get your feels and how you felt about it. So Dominic, from what I saw, it seemed okay. Notice 1 FPS drop, but other than that, it was smooth. Okay, cool, thank you. So, you know, it shouldn't drop. CPU has been relatively low, about 20% max. I've got, as you know, I've got a reasonable broadband connection. It's 1 gig down, 110 up. There's nothing else running on this machine, and everybody else is out of the house, so it should be okay. But I shall watch it. I'm testing it right now, deciding whether or not it's going to be permanent tool in my toolbox, or whether I'll continue with my aforesaids. So anyway, guys, thank you very much indeed. And let me just think, tonight, it's Generation X Gaming Club on Twitch. We moved to Twitch because nobody was watching us on YouTube, and I have to say we are getting a couple more on Twitch. It's very much a project of love for Clive and I, Clive Illenden. It's I'm just going to quickly promote this because I love the show. We do it for the fun of it and nothing more. There's no, we never expect it to be anything. That's why we're both doing it on an independent channel. It's not on either of our channels, which is one of the reasons why nobody knows it exists. But it is great fun, and people that do come along have great fun. And I know there are some of you in the chat today. Everybody at the end of it says, what a great fun show it is. It's just some banter between two older fellas, myself and Clive. And we chuckle about the old days, and we have some laughs. And we even have a little bit of a game off where you can vote on which of us did the best pitch. It's just good fun. So we go out at 9 p.m. tonight on Twitch. I think, top of my head, it's twitch.tv/GenX Gaming Club. But please pop in and see what you think. And if you like it, you're more than welcome to come and join us at a regular time. But if you don't, fair point, you've given it a go. Either way, have fun, have a great day, and I shall see you all